Hello students, in our previous video we have discussed up till variety of credit arrangements. Now in this video we'll move towards formal sector credit in India. There are two sectors from where loans can be obtained: formal sector loans and informal sector loans. We have already studied about formal and informal sector in chapter 2. The same thing applies here. Formal sector is under the control of the government, whereas informal sector is outside the control of the government. Loans from banks and cooperatives are regulated by government, so they come under formal sector loans. The functioning of this sector is supervised by Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India guides the banks to maintain minimum cash. As we have already seen in loan activities of bank, that banks have to keep some minimum cash, and this minimum amount is decided by Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India also sees that banks give loans not just to profit making businesses but also to poor section. Reserve Bank of India has made mandatory for commercial banks to open some of their branches in rural areas also. Banks are required to submit information to the Reserve Bank of India on how much they are lending, to whom, at what interest rate, on what terms and conditions loans are given, etc. In short, Reserve Bank of India monitors the formal sector loans on behalf of the government. In comparison to this, informal lenders include money lenders, traders, employers, relatives, friends, etc. Whatever terms and conditions have been agreed upon between informal lenders and the borrowers, government is not going to interfere in that, as it is outside the control of the government. Unlike formal sector, there is no organization which supervises the credit activities of lenders in the informal sector. And because of this, unfair means are used here. That is, they charge high rate of interest. The borrowers are exploited, and they even use unfair means to get their money back. With this, we can conclude that formal sector loans should be promoted in a country, as informal lenders charge high rate of interest, so a larger part of the earning of the borrowers goes in the repayment. And sometimes the interest rate for borrowing can mean that the amount to be repaid is greater than the income of borrowers. This increases their debt and they fall in debt trap. A person who might wish to start a new business by taking loan from informal sector may not do so, because he will not be able to earn profit in this situation because of the high cost of borrowing. Therefore, lending activities of banks and cooperative should be increased more, as cheap and affordable credit is crucial for the country's development. Up till now, We have seen the activities of formal and informal sectors. Now, I'll move towards the next topic, that is formal and informal credit. Who gets what? Majority of poor household gets loan from informal sector where interest rate is high, and because of that they fall in debt trap. In comparison to this, majority of rich household gets loan from formal sector where interest rate is low, and so they are able to explore their business and earn more and more. Because of lack of awareness, poor households don't go to formal sector to have credit. Secondly, they don't have collateral to give to banks in order to avail credit. Next, they are not familiar with the systems of formal sector, and that is why they are more comfortable with their relatives, landlords, moneylenders, and employers. Thus, it is necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending, particularly in the rural areas, so that the dependence of informal sources of credit reduces. Secondly, while formal sector loans need to expand, it is also necessary that everyone receive these loans. Only to open branches in rural areas is not enough, but it should also be seen that credit is distributed to all, that is, the credit facility of formal sector should also reach to poor households. Now, I am going to start the last topic of this chapter, that is self-help groups for the poor. We are going to see what is a self-help group and how it is useful to the poor. We have already seen that because of lack of education, the poor households don't go to formal sector to take loans, and suppose if they are aware, then also they don't have collateral and other documents which are needed to obtain loans from the formal sector. Informal lenders know the borrowers personally, so poor households feel more comfortable to take loans from them. But the truth is that the borrowers are exploited in informal sector. So, in order to overcome these problems, the poor households organized themselves into self-help groups. As we have studied about cooperatives, the same thing applies here. A typical self-help group has 15 to 20 members, usually belonging to one neighborhood. According to their potential, they pool fund by their savings. Whenever any member needs loan, he can avail from the group. The group charges interest, but this is still less than what the money lenders charge. Secondly, they can also avail loans from the banks by showing their fund which they have saved on a regular basis. Bank sanctions the loan in the name of the group to create self-employment opportunities for the members. Important decisions regarding interest rate, whom to give fund, what will be the premium, etc., are taken by members. If any member neglects paying the premium regularly, then all the members persuade that member to pay the amount. As all the members know each other, so when they give loan, they see to it that the premium is paid regularly by the member who has taken the loan. Therefore, the chances of default are less. Self-help groups are mostly formed by women, so it helps women to become financially self-reliant, and the regular meetings of the group provides a platform to discuss and act on a variety of social issues such as health, nutrition, domestic violence, etc. Grameen Bank is a microfinance organization and community development bank started in the 1970s. And in 2018, it had over 9 million members in about 81,600 villages spread over Bangladesh. Almost all of the borrowers are women and belong to poorer sections of the society. They have proved that not only are poor women reliable borrowers, but that they can start and run a variety of small income generating activities successfully. Grameen Bank was founded by Mohammad Yunus. Mohammad Yunus is a Bangladeshi social entrepreneur, banker, economist, and civil society leader who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for founding the Grameen Bank.